In this video, we'll configure a data protection solution by integrating Veeam Backup for Microsoft Office 365 with DataCore Swarm S3 compatible object storage. Then we'll demonstrate how to back up and restore files used by SharePoint, Exchange, OneDrive, OneNote, Teams, and Office 365 apps. The simple process starts from the console of an active Swarm cluster with the creation of two elements needed by Veeam: a token for secure S3 authentication and an on-premises bucket in which to store the backup files. Then we can set up the object storage repository for Veeam. Once configured, one merely follows standard backup and restore procedures. From the Swarm content portal, add an S3 token and save the token ID and secret key. Then add a bucket dedicated for these backups with the recommended erasure encoding ratio. From the Veeam console, launch the new object storage repository wizard. For credentials, enter the token key in the access key field, followed by the secret key. Select the bucket created earlier and add a new folder for backups. A separate backup repository will serve as a metadata cache to speed up searches from Veeam Explorers. A folder from a local drive on a backup proxy renders this service. Actual backup data is offloaded to Swarm and should be encrypted for extra security. Then specify the retention policy. With the backup repository configured, it's time to add the organization and online services we wish to protect, specifically Exchange, SharePoint, and Teams. Modern authentication requires the credentials of an Office 365 user with the global administrator role when registering the Veeam application with Azure Active Directory, or Azure AD. If previously registered as shown here, use the assigned application ID available from the Azure portal. Log on to Office 365 with the temporary code. Once the organizational parameters are verified, the organization appears on the left navigation pane. Time now to kick off a backup job for a SharePoint for all of the sites and all objects in those sites. At this point, we specify the backup proxy server and select Swarm storage for our backup repository. You can set up a recurring schedule and ask to start the job as well. The job is underway. Let's see what's going on in the Swarm cluster. Veeam has created several folders corresponding to the Office 365 objects being protected. If you're curious, this structure chart and the accompanying descriptions help you decipher their contents. You may receive warnings that the backup proxy is throttled, but the job will continue. As more files are backed up, the Swarm chart for bandwidth used will climb. Launch Veeam's SharePoint Explorer for a peek at the SharePoint sites. It can restore files from this panel after proper authentication with Office 365. Backing up users' mailboxes, OneDrive, and OneNote files follows a similar process. Again, we select Swarm as our backup repository. We kick off the job, monitor its progress, and then check the Swarm console for activity. With full confidence in our backups, we ask a user to check their Outlook mailbox and permanently delete an unimportant message so we can recover it. The Veeam Explorer for Microsoft Exchange enables us to quickly locate the deleted message. Given the right privileges, the Veeam application pulls the backup copy from the Swarm object storage and restores it to the user's mailbox. Teams chat sessions, postings, and meeting recordings can also be backed up in a separate job. Veeam provides an Explorer for Teams as well. Another glance at the Swarm bucket summarizes the total storage used for these backups. And that completes a demonstration of the data protection solution made possible through the integration of backup software from Veeam and object storage software from DataCore. Thank you.